What's up guys, today we're going to be going over the new Stasis linear fusion rifle from Trials of Osiris, the Reed's Regret, and we will first be breaking down how to get this weapon, going over all its perks and its god roll, and a bunch of DPS numbers. So we're going to be breaking down everything you will ever need to know about this weapon. Probably too much information. Well, how do you get this weapon? Well, it's from Trials of Osiris, which just got a huge rework, and the way you go about getting loot now is you get Trials engrams, which you can first decrypt at the Cryptarch to unlock new stuff. And you get these engrams from ranking up Saint 14, just like Crucible or Vanguard. Then if you are on a card with 7 wins on it, every single time you win a game, there's a chance of dropping one from the post-game results. Then once you unlock the weapon, you can focus your engrams into it. It definitely costs a lot to do it, but it's going to be worthwhile to get exactly what you want. And yesterday alone, I got probably around 25 to 30 of these zanes. So far, my one piece of feedback about Trials of Osiris is I think the rep is too slow. A majority of the player base will be getting their engrams purely through rep and rep alone, and overall I think it takes a lot longer to rank up in Trials, even if you're winning every single game, than it does in Crucible or Vanguard. And before we start breaking down all the cool stuff about this weapon, I need to first talk about how I'm going bald. This video is sponsored by Keeps. Keeps is a subscription service that focuses on making it easier and more affordable for men to treat their male pattern baldness online. And unfortunately, on my mom's side of the family, we have the male pattern baldness gene, and every guy on that side of the family has a bald spot on top of their head. And at 25 years old, I'm already on that path. And the odds are that 2 out of every 3 guys will experience that at some point in their life, sometimes sooner than later. And that is where Keeps comes into play. A licensed doctor will work with you and prescribe the right hair loss treatment for you. And at any point 24/7, you can ask them any questions or concerns you have about your treatment. The best time to start prevention is right now when you still have hair, not after you lose it all. And with Keeps, it's affordable because they offer a generic version of the FDA approved medication for hair loss. It typically takes 4 to 6 months to start seeing results, so it's important to act fast. So what are you waiting for? If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/air or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/EHROAR. Once again, thanks to Keeps for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so now breaking down this weapon. The first thing we're going to start with is the magazine perks, or the battery perks for a fusion rifle. And we're going to be looking at accelerated coils versus liquid coils, then versus a mag increase plus backup mag. And with just the mag perk, you go to 6, and with backup mag, it goes to 7. And that's going to be extremely important for triple tap on this weapon, which we'll be talking about here in a little bit. So first, looking at the damage increase and decreases of these different magazine perks, starting off with accelerated coils, it's going to hit 45,554. Now with the mag increase, we won't have boss spec on it, so it drops to 43,000. And finally, with liquid coils, this will be the highest at 47.4. So as you see, liquid coils does 4.1% more damage than accelerated coils. Then the 7 mag is the lowest because of no boss spec. Then we look at the rate of fire differences. First, with accelerated coils, shooting out 5 shots, it's going to take 4.5 seconds. Now with the mag increase perk, it's going to take 4.7 seconds. And finally, with liquid coils, the slowest but the most damage, it's going to take just under 4.9 seconds. So if we look at the overall DPS of these different options, accelerated coils edges out liquid coils by over 2,000, so it is the best for pure DPS. And now moving on to the perks, starting with left column, there's going to be 2 I want to talk about: Clown Cartridge and also Triple Tap. So first, with Clown, every single time you reload the weapon, it will overflow the magazine at least by 1, and with a 5 mag, the cap you'll be able to get to is 8, so you can shoot 3 more shots per magazine. Then if we put on a mag increase to go to 6, we'll see that the cap is now going to be 9. And finally, if we put on backup mag also, for the full 7 magazine, it will now go all the way up to 11. And if we compare that to triple tap, which this is the first linear in the game with triple tap, and I think one of the first power weapons since vanilla with triple tap, which is going to be very interesting because of the fact that every single time you proc triple tap by hitting 3 crits in a row, you get 1 ammo back to the magazine, but this ammo is from thin air, it's not from your reserves, so you're adding 1 more ammo to your total ammo count every single time you proc this perk. So with a 5 magazine, you would be able to shoot 7 in a row, which means 2 free bullets. Then if you swap over to a magazine perk, which will make the base mag 6, you will then be able to shoot 8 in a row and still only 2 extra bullets. But finally, if you put on a mag perk plus backup mag for 7, as you'll see right here, you'll be able to shoot 10 in a row, which means 3 free bullets every single magazine, which over the entire reserves of your weapon, that's going to be a lot of extra damage output that you won't have with any other linear in the entire game. And that is why, already off the bat, this is pretty much the best linear in the game. So if we compare triple tap to clown, I think triple tap is just simply always better because of the free ammo. So the real conversation is boss spec versus backup mag. And I think boss spec will be better for burst DPS obviously and lower health targets, for example strike bosses that you'll be killing in one mag, while the full 7 mag combo with backup mag will be better for boss fights and sustained DPS output. And now we move on to the right column perks. There's going to be a lot I want to talk about. There's going to be 4 damage perks and also headstone. So first starting off with headstone, pretty much what this does is it kind of acts like Dragonfly for stasis weapons. You create a stasis crystal on their dead body, and then you can shoot it and it'll explode, kind of like Firefly. And this perk is really good for stasis builds, but I think if you want to use headstone, you'll be better off with it on the hand cannon or sidearm, because you'll have way more uptime than a power weapon. Then we also have Vorpal on this weapon, which will be a 15% buff, which is the most consistent DPS perk in the game. But for best DPS perk on this weapon, we actually have another one to look at, which is going to be Fireline. Whenever you have 2 or more allies nearby, you'll get a precision damage buff, and looking at that on Carl, it's going to go to 52,000, which means it's a 14.18% increase, so a little bit lower than Vorpal. So overall, Vorpal's a little bit better because you don't need teammates nearby. Then up next, we have Harmony, which is when we get final blows with other weapons, it'll increase the damage of this weapon, which I think is going to be really cool for some builds and just general play. So first getting a kill with our primary weapon, we'll get the Harmony buff on our linear, which will make it do 54,600, which is going to be a 20% increase. Also lasts for quite a while at 7.5 seconds, so not too bad. Then looking at Adagio, which I think will be pretty interesting on specials and power weapons. So looking at how that will work, once we get a kill with the weapon, we will get increased damage and lower rate of fire. As you see, it goes to 58,000, and this perk will last for roughly 6.7 seconds. So recapping the damage buffs, Fireline's the lowest at 14.2, Vorpal 15, Harmony 20, and Adagio 25. But the thing about Adagio, it is the highest buff, but it also will decrease the rate of fire. So looking at that, you can shoot 4 shots with the perk, and it will shoot 17% slower than if you didn't have the perk, which means roughly a net increase of 7% DPS. So now moving on to the DPS testing for this weapon, we're going to be using particle deconstruction for all of the math because it's going to be an extra 40% that nothing else can get. So for burst DPS, Vorpal is 81,000 and Harmony will go up to 85,000, both of which are extremely strong numbers, among the highest in the game. But then for 2 mags, usually you have to reload, but we can use triple tap or clown for 7 or 8 shots in a row, and that will now take just under 8 seconds at 7.5 seconds, which means DPS only falls to 77.4 or 80,000. So that is where this weapon really shines. The sustained DPS output of this weapon doesn't really fall off that much, and we can even shoot 10 or 11 in a row with triple tap in a 7 mag or with clown in a 7 mag. Shooting off 10 shots with triple tap will now take roughly 10 seconds on the dot, which means the DPS falls to roughly 70,000, which is still extremely good for pretty much half of your reserves. And that leads me to the total damage output of this weapon, which is its huge strength compared to other linear fusions because of triple tap. If you have a 7 mag and proc triple tap every single time, you're going to be doing over 2 million total damage output, which is absolutely absurd. So overall, what is the god roll on this weapon? I think in the left, you pretty much always want triple tap just for the free ammo. Then right for boss DPS, for example, raid bosses and things like that, you want Vorpal because you'll always have the perk and it's 15%. But then for just general play, I think Adagio or Harmony will work really well. All you have to do is get a kill with the linear or a different weapon first, and you'll have those buffs for roughly 7 seconds. And both of those buffs are a little bit higher than Vorpal. So if you're in a situation where you can take advantage of it, it'll be pretty cool. Yes, Adagio will lower your rate of fire, but for just general play, for example, like a mini boss pops out, if you have Adagio going, you might just one-shot it in the first place, which means you're not really feeling the effect of the rate of fire decrease. So I think in the right situation, that could be a pretty cool perk on this weapon. The real question about the god roll is what magazine perk do you want? I think for most areas in the game, you just want to run boss spec and get that extra 7.7% damage. For example, with a 3-man fire team versus strike bosses, you're going to be killing them well before 7 bullets. So no point putting on the full backup mag combo for that. But then for raid bosses, I think it's definitely going to be worthwhile to throw on backup mag with a mag increase to get that extra free bullet per magazine. So ideally, you would get triple tap and Vorpal with accelerated coils and also enhanced battery on it. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for the video. This weapon is easily the best linear in the game just because of the fact that it's triple tap and the way it increases your total damage output. Anyways, let me know what you think about the Trials rework so far. What loot have you gotten so far? Have you been enjoying yourself? Also, I think tomorrow I'm going to throw up a few stasis builds to take advantage of this weapon. So definitely look forward to that. Anyways, like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.